This is my current desk setup, and it's
disgusting!
well, yeah, that too. But it's also basic. So to level it up, I'm gonna start by building a desk.
I belong to you.
I started off by cutting my plywood down to 28 and 1/4 inch by 23 and 3/4 inch pieces so that these can be the sides of the cabinets.
Just what you want. You're the one I trust. And I always be around when I need some loving, baby. No one else.
After I got those pieces cut out, I started cutting out places for the kick plates to go, and then I cut 45-degree angles on top of these so that we can later have a seamless top. And once I did that, I started adding pocket holes to the sides and top so that we can later screw it together. I have all my pieces cut to size and I have pocket holes screwed in them so I can later assemble them. I would like to point out one thing that I messed up that I would like to make you aware of, that you don't make the same mistake. When I was cutting the main side pieces like this with the kick plate, I started out by cutting the main square and then adding the kick plate, and then I added the miters to the top so we can later put our top piece on there. But when I put the miters on there, I didn't think about it that these need to face different directions, and I made 4 identical ones and I needed 2 different ones. So I fixed this by, I don't know if you can even tell, but I just put a piece in here and put pocket holes and glued it and stuff, so it'll be fine. I'm just painting over it. Anyways, I just wanted to make that known to not mess that up. But we have our main sides, our 2 back pieces, our 2 floor pieces, and then our 2 top pieces over there. And I'm actually gonna put the back in about 3 inches inset so we can do some cord management back there. And all the main side pieces right here, they all have 45-degree miters on top so that whenever we add our top pieces back here, that it's gonna sit pretty flush and we won't see this plywood edge on the top of it later on. Now that I have all these cut, I'm going to sand them, and then I think we can start assembling. And since I didn't mention it before, I also cut out the bottoms and the backs for the cabinets, so I'm going to add the dimensions on this picture for you. I wanted to make y'all aware of another problem that I just ran into. Okay, if you can see where this miter is right here, and how this part right here sticks up. We actually need this to be flush with the bottom of this miter. So I'm gonna have to take this part off and then cut that down so that our top can slide all the way back. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna reattach it real quick. I reattached the board. I cut it down, and I also added these pocket holes for whenever this top, our mitered top, it's all mitered on every side except for the back side. It'll lay on top and slide right in here. And then these miters are a little rough right now, but I'll fix it up. But we're gonna screw the top in with these pocket holes right here. Plus, I'll probably add maybe some brad nails and stuff like right through right here. I'm gonna attach the top, and then I think we can start on the next case. I also added some of these L brackets inside the cabinet to give it a little bit more support. Once I did that, the cabinet was pretty much done, and it's time to make the face frames. All I did for the face frame was measure out the opening of my cabinet, and I used these pieces of plywood that I cut down to 1.5 inch wide. I made a few spots for some drawers to go later, and then I just attached it using some wood glue and some brad nails. Once I finished nailing, I got my wood putty and I started filling all the holes, and once that dried, I started sanding it all down to make it look nice and smooth. Since everything was sanded at this point, I got my edge banding and I put it on the edge of the face frame so we wouldn't see that ugly plywood edge. Now that the cabinet is done, I'm going to start making the drawers, and here you see me routing these grooves into this board so that we can later slide the bottom of the drawer into it. I wanted to stop here for a second and let y'all know that I did this by screwing these together from the outside, but if I were to redo it, I would have just added pocket screws because we won't see them anyways. Now that the boxes are completed for the drawers, I'm going to start adding the slides for them inside the case. Now we move on to the drawer faces, which I cut to size, and then I added some edge banding to hide that ugly plywood edge. If you can see it from the front, wait till you see it from the back. Now we're going to use our router and add some grooves around the edge for our back plate. I'm adding some small grooves onto the back of the back plate and to the back of the cabinets to fit our magnets so that they will snap together. I was short by about 4 magnets, so I had to improvise, and I cut down some L brackets that I had laying around so we could have some extra metal pieces.
I belong to you. Do just what you want. You're the one I trust.
Here I am priming everything, and apparently I didn't video myself adding these dowels on top, but all I did was screw them in from underneath, and they will act as the spacers for the cabinets and the top. Once I had everything primed, I spray painted the dowels gold, taped them off, and then I started spraying everything else green. Once the paint dried, I applied a satin polyurethane over everything to help protect it, and once that dried, I sanded everything down with a high grit sandpaper to get rid of any micro bubbles or imperfections, and then I wiped everything down. Finally, I started making the desktop. I cut down a sheet of birch plywood, but I left some room on the sides to fold the edges over to give it a seamless and thicker look.
Take me to your heart. I belong to you.
Little side note, don't do what I just did. I used my saw and I had the good side, which will be the top, facing up, and I cut on that side. So all my tear out was on that side. So I'm gonna redo that, but I flipped the board so where the bottom of the top, which is like the bad side, will be on the top. So when I cut it, my tear out will be on the bad side. I'm gonna use this Minwax Special Walnut stain to stain the top. It's a little bit darker of a stain, not super dark, but I think it'll go good with the pretty dark top. So I'm gonna stain that, and then once that dries, we can put polyurethane over the cabinets and the top. So I taped off all my little risers because I'm gonna glue these together and I don't want the glue to run down here and get all over this. So if it does run down, I'll just be able to rip it off with the tape. So I drilled about 1 1/8 down into these, I believe, and then about 1/2 inch into the top. So these dowels, of course, there's gonna be glue in here and everywhere. So these dowels are gonna go in there, and then my top's gonna lay on here, and the top of the dowel will go in the top. So that's how I'm gonna join them. I'm gonna do that to all of these, and I'm just gonna glue these in here.